Easy Tigers! I hope everyone's fine and dandy. Welcome back as always. Today we're going to be looking at a place in Wolverly. There's a suspect ridge. There seems to be a part of a complex that could be buried. It seems unnatural. And lo and behold, there's also all sorts of signs of geopolymer everywhere. There is signs of water systems. There's all sorts of stuff. They've even got a church on top of this place. There's even houses made out of the same geopolymer right next to it. So we're going to look at all this. So I had to get my boots on the ground down there and see what is going on. So this is on Google Earth, and you can see, like here, the houses are made out of the geopolymer. Straight up out the geopolymer. And I don't know why they blocked this part out, to be honest with you, because when I went there, there was nothing really there that was suspect. But I'll show you anyway. We get up close and personal with the stone, and we have a look about. I found some other features that it's gonna knock your socks off. Though this is an incredible area, absolute incredible area, and we are 41 meters above sea level at that point, so about 120 feet above sea level, and the church sits on top of this. So we're going to examine where I just plodded along all them little dots. I also had a look in this cliff, sorry, in this little mini forest for some more nuggets. Very dangerous when it's wet, I'll tell you. Very, very dangerous. Like high ridges. It's very steep. Water at the bottom. Wet. If you fall, you're gone. You're brown bread. But I'll do it. I'll do it for the channel, you know. Anyway, let's get our boots on the ground. Let's have a little butcher's hook. So I parked outside of the church and I walked down. And it's funny how these churches are always on top of these things, or on top of hills, or very quite high up, hey? There's no sign of anything being cut here or carved, or no sign of this being sedimentary rock at all whatsoever. There is parts of this, there's lines of this sandstone, this geopolymer sandstone, that is actually heavily densed in aggregates. Now, when you walk around this place, you don't actually see any tool marks whatsoever. None of it. All you see is squidge marks, like they've put some boards up and put some sort of mix in there, like some sort of geopolymer up against it, some mix, some sort of form moulding, shuttering they call it in the modern days, shuttering. You put the boards up, put the concrete in, let it set, pull the boards away. And that's how you get these overlapping marks and these little air holes and these pocket holes. Now, if this was cut out of the stone with tools, then you wouldn't be cutting these lines, you wouldn't be cutting air holes, and you wouldn't be doing that sort of stuff. But I digress. So what's happened on this side, there is obviously houses that were built, so the foundation of these houses and even the ground floor and even below that would all be in this sandstone geopolymer. But it seems like they've chopped it down at some sort of level and then they've just built on top of it. But all of what you're looking at now is pure sandstone. If you look at the left hand window at the top, see, that is actually done in a brick and it's stepped. You can see that they've chopped it down. Look at it. This is all done in the geopolymer. So that means the houses inside, the walls inside, the interior walls must be made of the sandstone geopolymer. Now look at this. Striation marks, eh? Or joint marks. I don't know. I'm not having it. Look. And like I said, there's parts of this, segments of this, that are heavily densed in aggregates. And this is one of the parts. And then you go up and it's a lovely mix. But again, you've got this white line running through again. But look how it overlaps the bottom layer to the other layer. And see how they're actually slightly different mixes. And this is the same effect that you see in Egypt and all these places. You know, when people sit there and go, when you can't even get a piece of paper between the cracks. It's because it's done with this technique. Look at this. Look at this. It's just cast directly on top. But here you can see they're actually two different mixes. One's lighter than the other. Well, I just want to big up homage to the Patreons and the guys that support me on PayPal as well. Because it's thanks to you guys, you know, helping towards this. Because I've given up my life to look for this stuff, you know. I should be settling down, getting married, 2.4 children and all that business. But I'm not. I'm out and about, boots on the ground, putting all the money I get in my life back into this channel and investing in myself. So the guys that contribute towards that, I appreciate you so much. Because you really do help me out, and it's a maximum respect for that. So I'll leave the links in the description if anyone else wants to join the gang. And also, I just want to big up Tulio Zanoni, one of my brothers from another mother. Big up, brother, mate. I hope you're gravy, man. And I'll be seeing you very soon, sunshine. Very, very soon for a big smoko. Big up, brother. if you notice here, you've got the joint, like, they're not joint marks, they're like overlapping marks. So it's when the new mix has been put on top of the other mix. But you can also see these other lines, these squiggly little lines, that to me like seem like some sort of fabric was holding this in. That's what it seems like. It is a very strange place, very, very strange place. And let's have it right. That means what we're looking at now would have all had to been excavated. And then they'd have done the doors, the windows, they'd have cut all that into the stone. I just don't believe it. It just don't make no sense to me. What makes sense is breaking down the natural stone and remoulding it into what you want. That's what makes sense. So that obviously means that there is a load of natural sandstone somewhere in the area, and this part I believe is not natural. Not naturally formed, shall we say. Because all the materials there are natural materials. And this is meant to be the start of a seabed, this part here. Look at this. That corner. You know? Or a sand dune. It starts there. How crazy is that? The corner of a seabed or a sand dune starts there millions of years ago. And then it got compressed and then cementation, and this geology is a load of cobblers. I'm telling you. But disclaimer, just my opinion. Look at these squiggle marks that are going over, in inverted commas, the striations or joint marks. Like, what would do that? Only some sort of sack mark or some sort of fabric could do that, I guess. I don't know. I'd love to just sit there one day in the bush, spying, whenever these buildings were built, spying on the people that built it, just to have a look to see how it was done. Now, this was the part that was blocked out on Google Earth. I don't know why, but I don't know how far this place goes in. But this door here, I mean, like, you can almost see like the sack marks. Can you see these? Because I can see, look at the stone as well. Absolutely incredible. I mean, look at that. Just cast directly on each other, but then you've got the sack marks going across it. I don't know if they're sacks or fabric or some sort of material, but you can see that whatever it is flimsy, and it creates these ripples. Incredible stuff. So here you have a cave as well. So I've just walked downhill, right? I've just walked downhill. On the left-hand side is this geopolymer structure with the church on top. No doubt there's water underneath, inside where I'm looking at. And on the right-hand side, there was a row of rock houses. And here we are looking at some sort of storage, but you've got a bricked up entrance around the back. So it clearly goes further than that. Clearly. Yeah, but you wait till you see the Brucey bone. It's going to knock your socks off. A little plaque up there. Anyway. This is where it got interesting for me, because in the last video I showed you that I was showing you these are complexes with storage incorporated into them, water systems, waste systems, and also dwellings all incorporated into these structures. And for some reason, people have gone around. There's a cult or someone's gone around and planted bush up them, blocked them up, smashed them up, dismantled them, turned them into golf courses, nature reserves, and all the other jazz, you know. But that's why I was waffling on. I hope people did actually just see all of the keyhole marks or log hole marks or whatever you want to call them, all them squares outside. So that means there would have been additional structures added to this, maybe in wood, or it could have been where other stones went into the stones interlocking. I'm not sure, but more than likely wood. Like external structures added to it. So I believe like the bigger squares would have been like the framing, and then the smaller ones would have been like for shelves and that inside the framing, you know. Look at that. So the bigger ones would have been for like the frame of the wood or the roof. But it's mental stuff, eh? Mentals. And like I exposed in the last video, on the very last, what do you call it? Bonus of the last video. Brucey bonus of the beach caves, I showed you the comparison of part of a water system that's incorporated into this structure that was identical to Malta. Identical. Look at this. Look at this. What an image, man. This don't seem like it should be in the United Kingdom. And I guess this must be where the power come in, because I've seen this a couple of times now. Like, you just see the cables directly in. But look how this is cast on top of each other, just above that. And like I always say, it seems to be on the ceilings or the roof or the door arch is where the next layer starts. Like, what's the chances of that every single time, you know? Looks like these ones were used for storage. Look at that. That's a really rough mix, that part there, though, you know? See, that to me looks like it could be what they describe as sedimentary rock. But then when you go down, it's clean. But look, do you see what I'm saying? So maybe that was a restoration or reparation work. Maybe that's why it's so heavily dense, because I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just guessing. Like, whatever I say here is just my opinion. Like, I don't actually know. Like, all I've got is like an abundant amount of experience. But who knows? I could be absolutely wrong and barking up the wrong tree. It's just my opinion. But I'm pretty confident. But there's all the keyholes. And this was the section that I'm on about. See the bit that's covered in the moss? See, this was a part that had the water part in it. And look at the angles on all of this. Look at this. This is definitely part of some sort of like structure. I'm not going to cover it too much because, like I said, it was in the Brucey bonus of the last video. I went a little bit deep on it and showed you the comparisons of the evidence I've collected in Malta. And again, you got a little bit of render sitting up there. Just a little bit. Little bit of render. Yeah. A little bit of render. So they get sloppy, man. They really do get sloppy. And like, if I was in charge, I would not have none of it. You got to do the job properly, man. Because then you got little people like me going around picking up all these crumbs and making videos on it. And like, I mean, look at the angles on this. Look at that. Natural? I don't think so. And where's the tool marks for it? Now, this is the part I was on about. Here. Now, a pipe would have gone in here, and then a plate would have gone over that, and it would have been rendered. You know, I went into this on the last video. You should check the bonus out on the last video, and you can see this is undeniable proof that this is part of a water system, or for a water system. So a pipe would have gone in there, or a cable could have gone in there, but some sort of building service has gone inside of this, and it goes from above to below, and it goes underground. So it's either going into some sort of conduit for cables to run from A to B, or it's going into some sort of waste system incorporated into this sandstone. Now again, absolute feat of engineering, if that is the case. If that is the absolute case, you know. Never mind. If I haven't knocked your socks off, let me knock them off now, because we're going to have a Brucey bonus. And we're going to spruce for Bruce. Let's go. So, another part of this feature incorporating this geopolymer was this walkway. And it takes you from A to B, from above to below, from the church down to the most recent ground level, shall we say. Now, it gets very funky, because now I've been in abundant. I mean, I've been around this so many times. You start noticing different techniques in different areas and things like that. But what I like to do is I like to walk around. I like to locate them, check them out on the LiDAR, check them out on Google Earth, see if there's any images, see if there's any stuff online on them, and then walk around them yourself. Because when you have a walk around them, you see a heck of a lot more. Because you see, when I was showing you on Google Earth earlier, they block things out. So anyway, I like to have a little walk about. I like to see what's going on. I like to get my boots on the ground, because I think that's the best way to find stuff. It really is. So when you do that, you come across stuff like this, and you think, well, how is this possible? In the narrative, this is meant to be sedimentary rocks. So this is meant to be layers of sand dunes or layers of seabeds. But to me, this just looks like some sort of cement. I know it's sandstone, but look how it's set. I mean, if you've cut this, why would you cut all these lines into it? You know, why would you cut all the lines into it? It just don't make no sense, does it? Look at it. That has been printed. When I mean printed, I don't mean that out of a 3D printer. Has anyone ever seen cement come out of a silo? That's what it reminds me of. Something like that. And that's that. I feel like this on a bigger scale. And again, look at this. You can see lime coming out of this so much. That's the calcite, calcium, lime leaching. Mental stuff, eh? Mental stuff. So these are just minor, mini versions of the macro structures that we're exploring. They're just tiny little versions of it. Look at this. Look at that. That's exactly what cement would look like. Look how it's flapping over each other. You've got the crease marks, the squidge marks. And like I said, for the people that believe body parts, as soon as you go into the stone a little bit, the striations, the joint marks, they disappear. They're gone. Look at like that. Look at that. So it's completely gone. It's just like someone's just smacked a load of sand like up against something to hide something. Look at that. That's actually a lovely bit of sandstone there. Beautiful. Beautiful. But look, it's just added. I digress. So I keep moving, and we're moving around this structure. We're moving around, and there's so many clues, and they have gone right out their way to hide this stuff so bad. So bad. I mean, a lot of this stuff just has like trees and grass and bush growing all over it. All over it. But like I said, you really got to get your boots on the ground. There is a process, you know. There's a process. I like to look on the LiDAR. First of all, I get a lead, then I look on the LiDAR, then I check it out on Google Earth, and then I have to get the boots on the ground. And then you come across little gems like this. I mean, look at this little baby. So just behind that, by the way, just behind this bit that we're about to examine is where I started to walk down at the start of the video, where you start seeing all the geopolymer, and you've got the church on the left and the rock buildings on the right. So this was pretty much where I started the video. Now look at that. What would go there, you know? Obviously it's some sort of storage, maybe horses or something, I'm not sure. But clear sections, segments. Absolute beautiful piece of engineering. Or should we say geoengineering. Don't know how you want to present it. But again, it's just another little nugget, part of a load of nuggets that we're going around collecting. So this was all in the same area. And look at this sandstone compared to the other parts. Like, there's no marine biology. There's no. It's not dense in aggregates or anything like that. And this is another thing. Like, when something petrifies, it can't petrify into sandstone. Because sandstone's made of quartz and feldspar, and this is why it's so important for me now to elevate my research to the next level. That's why I'm going to be getting a not top of the range, because that was when I get stupid money, but I'm actually going to be getting a pardon me, a serious microscope, so I can put all this BS to rest and start looking at the stuff under the microscope, and it's showing people what is really going on with these stones up close and personal. I mean, what we look at has got all the characteristics of geopolymer. There's no signs of tool marks or anything like that, or anything being natural. But again, like I've always said, it's just my opinion. Look at the swirl marks going over the, in inverted commas, striation marks. Look at them. Look at it. Look at the swirls. Look at that. It's just like in mortar. It's like sack marks going over it and holding in and squidging it all in. It really is phenomenal. Look at that. Look at this. So when I get this microscope, it's probably going to be in mortar. It's going to be about, I think about, pardon me, €500 or €600. But see what I mean when I invest in myself. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at it. I'm sorry I get so excited. But look how clean that is. It's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I'm going to be elevating, and that's all I keep doing. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but when you set goals and you reach goals, you've got to make another goal, and you've got to keep moving. So the goal you set is not the end goal, in my opinion. It's never the end goal. When you get there, you're going to set more. Look at this. Look at this. What this is like sacks or swirl marks all over these squidge marks. So yeah, I've been setting goals. I've been living my dream, and it's starting to get better and better. There's so much light coming through now at the end of the tunnel. Like, things are in motion. We are going places. So my next goal now is the telescope. Sorry, microscope. And we are going to start getting scientific out here. I'm telling you. I am telling you. So listen, I hope you've enjoyed these videos, because I enjoy it. For me, it's like the best thing in the world. Like, I'm out exploring. We're trying to get to the bottom of this real history. Real history. Stuff that's hidden. Stuff that apparently starts in the 1800s. Move along, there's nothing to see here. But like I said before, if you want to join the gang, links are in the description. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and all that jazz. One love, guys. Ta-da. Ta-da.